Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Red Road Paranormal. I'm Christina Bloom. I'm your co host. I am a psychic medium and paranormal investigator with Adirondack Park Paranormal Society. My native heritage is Alaskan, and I am excited to be here today because we have a really fun guest with us today. But first, putting it on over to Rez.
Hey everybody, your favorite Resnick here, member of Cryptids Anomaly and the Paranormal Society, otherwise known as Wisconsin Caps, member of the Stockbridge Munsee Tribe, Band of Mohicans. And today we have Drew Babineau, I hope I'm saying that right, from Haunted Raven. So Drew, tell us about what's Haunted Raven?
So, Haunted Raven is something that I came up with recently. Probably about last year is when I kind of fit it all together. What started off as photography alone and a little bit of video work here and there, ended up branching into just a little bit bigger, right? So I've always been very fond and pulled toward abandoned locations, haunted locations, anything that looked decrepit, like it was just decaying. It always was something that caught my eye. And so there it was what my specialty was when it came to photos and everything. Um, and then I was started investigating big time. I mean, I did a few things here and there like a few years ago, but nothing really like diving in with equipment, more or less just like going in and just seeing what happens. Um, so now I've branched it into something bigger because I have a very big passion and love for the dead, as morbid as that might sound. But I feel when I go into these places, it's just you feel some of the way they felt, right? The pain sometimes. I always feel pulled more toward asylums. That's what I've noticed in myself. I've investigated penitentiaries, asylums to sanatoriums to hospitals, unique places like graveyards, obviously. I've been to houses, not like private homes, but like, for instance, like the Conjuring House that Hinz out, like those types. Um, so I've gotten to investigate quite a broad range of places, and it's always seems the one that always pulls my attention the most is the asylums, the sanatoriums. It's just I don't know why, but it just does. And I always find myself investigating those places more, and I feel like those are the places that need more love. And that's what I feel called to do, which is why I created the Haunted Raven, um, me being the Raven. And from there, it's just I want to bring people in and show them exactly like one, these locations, they might look scary, but they're not always scary, you know? My thing is that a lot of these times there might be that miscommunication where we could be missing something, you know, for where
Mhm.
what if they're trying to communicate with us, but not in a scary way, but obviously whether it's recordings or you hear the bangs and you know it scares us, right? Because you're just not expecting it. And for me, I feel like what if that's a different way of them trying to communicate? You have let's see, you have Penhurst, for example, right? A lot of the spirits there, the patients, and a lot of them didn't know how else to communicate. You'll hear groans sometimes, you'll hear knockings, a lot of knockings, because that was just their way of, communicating. Um, and then you have some that are just in so much pain. And what if you get like a scream through an EVP, right? What if
Yeah.
they're reliving a moment and they're just screaming in agony because of whatever they could have been experiencing back in their time, and that's just on a constant loop for them?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I don't I don't mean this in a bad way, right? When I say this, but it's like I don't think it's really about us anymore. Like going in and investigating, right? For me, it's about the spirits. It's about going in
Yeah.
there, really communicating with them and showing them that people really do care. You know, we don't have to be scared of you. We can sit here and have normal conversations. And I want to put twists on things instead of trying to find, hey, like, how many times are you going to ask a spirit if it got hurt or did it hurt? Well, you know, what you went through. It's like, we know it hurt. I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel drawn to more actually just sitting down, just like what we're doing, and having a
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Like, tell me about your favorite past memory. Light up the lights if you can, if you loved reading books, or light up the lights if you ever, played on a playground or something, like happier questions. I don't know. There's just different things that I see differently, I guess. And I'm like I said, I have a passion. I have a really strong love for the dead. And I maybe sometimes I might be overwhelming with it. And that's why I just want to show them so much. So my
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing is that with what I do with events wise, it's just I want to show people that it doesn't have to be scary. Like we can go into these places and show them the love and we'll get that love right back.
Oh yeah, they're human beings that have passed on. They're
Mm-hmm.
still, wanting that attention, that love, and that to be honored about what they went through and their stories to be told. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Right. And their stories aren't all about pain and agony. And,
No,
you
No.
know, and I think you're right, though. I think that a lot of us for many years have assumed that the noises were to get our attention.
Mhm.
Maybe they don't even realize we're there and don't care that we're there.
What if they just bumped into something because they're
Yeah.
clumsy?
Right.
right,
Exactly.
They live their
exactly.
life if they're clumsy in their afterlife, I'm probably gonna be that way. I know that.
Yep. Hey, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be who I am now when I pass on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll be the
Mhm.
one, screwing with the next batch of investigators out on investigations just to mess with them.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had some experiences where I got scared a lot and I'm like, but at the end of the day, it's like, no, I've always had more good experiences
Mhm.
than I've had bad. Like I said, I've had some bad ones. I mean, you're gonna experience a spirit who might be just pissed off and like they're stuck here. So they're just pissed off. They don't want to be bothered, right? So they're gonna tell you things to get you the hell out of their space,
Right.
whatever that
Yep.
might be. So it's like, and I've had a situation, two different types of situations, one good, one bad, right? At one location. And what I had gotten was what the famous word seems to be is I got a demon. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, well, here's the thing, right? Get out, demon, the devil. I'm like, all right, here's the thing. We're gonna stop right here, right? I am gonna tell you now. I know that you're not, right? I don't
Yep.
feel like you are. I don't feel any type of way in the environment that's around me as far as energy goes, right?
Mhm.
But what I do kind of feel is that you might be pissed off. I get it. You probably have people that come in here all the fucking time, you know, either destroying your home or they could just be bothering you and you don't want to be bothered. So I know I'm going to leave. I'm going to respect what you want, but I just want you to know that I don't think that that's what you are. I think you're just angry, but I'm still going to go and give you your space. And as soon as I walked out of the room, what I had gotten was thank you.
Yep.
I
Yep.
had
I believe it.
one of the ovuluses. Yep, thank you. So I was like, you're welcome, and I went on.
Yeah.
And I went over to a different spot and had a conversation with a woman based off of the things that I was getting on the device. Her name was Marsha. I feel like she was probably a nurse there. And I'm sitting here trying to talk to them, and you all of a sudden it goes quiet. He's speaking. Listen to him. And all I was saying was that, I appreciate you guys allowing me into your space and things like that. And then you have a spirit that um who is just literally like, hey guys, I know you guys over there talking, but listen to what he's saying, So for me, I was like, wow, okay, like that's interesting. So
Yep. They're
Yeah.
showing you that honor and that respect back that you are giving them,
yeah, exactly that.
which that's the best way to look at any kind of investigation or any kind of situation you go into.
Hmm.
It's going with that open mind, show that respect, and it usually will open up lines of communication that way.
Oh, absolutely. And I always get better activity when I go in there showing them stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like I
Yeah.
said, you might come across one that's like, you know what? Screw you, dude. I don't want to talk to you today. And you know what? Okay, that's fine. Because you know what? This place is full of spirits. I'm sure that there's somebody else that would love to communicate. So I'll just leave you be.
Yep.
Have you ever run into or come into a situation where there's a spirit who feels stuck and wants help leaving?
Yes.
Have
Yep.
you helped them leave?
I have not because if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm doing in that sense, and I
Okay.
want to mess nothing up. So I always say like I'm sorry, because I've had help crossing over type of
Mhm.
thing, and I told him like I don't know what I'm doing in that sense, and I don't want to
Okay.
mess anything up and make you stuck here even more. I said I feel you, and I'm sorry,
Okay.
Oh, but I don't feel comfortable enough doing that for them.
Okay,
Unless I knew
that's
what I
fair.
was doing 100%, then yes, possibly, absolutely. But if I don't
Hmm.
know, I'm not going to mess nothing up and open something up that I may not be able to close or bring
Hmm.
something through that shouldn't be coming through. You know what I mean? Those types,
Right.
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah,
many different things that can happen. And if I'm not fully educated in that or know 100% that what I'm doing, I'm not going to do it. And I'll tell people like, I'm sorry, but this is way past my expertise here. I
Yeah.
love going into these places and speaking with them but you asked me to cross you over and I'm gonna have to tell you I'm sorry, but I can't. It's not my call to make and I can't perform something like that.
that's fair. That's fair,
Yeah.
and a very honest answer. So I appreciate
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
do.
I always
Yeah,
give honesty.
yeah. I know that there are some who like, well, the building owner doesn't want us crossing anyone over, so we're just going to leave them here. And to me, that's like holding someone hostage.
I
Yeah.
mean,
You know.
you're no different than maybe the entity that could be there. And I say
Hmm.
entity because it could be any kind of spirit that's there and keeping them there. Like, what if they're there for a
Yeah.
purpose? Like, you go to the penitentiaries, right? And you get a
Hmm.
lot of that where they want to cross over. Um, I had a encounter with one at Crescent Sanatorium. I did a lot of investigations there. God, that place had my heart for the longest time. And one, I was in a restricted housing unit, and I had the most profound EVP in there that I had ever captured. I mean, I came out skipping damn near out of that building. But came into a situation like that and I got drawn up to cell 8. It's so if you go into the restricted housing unit, you could either go to the right or you can go to the left, right? So I went to the left and then went into there. And if you go up the stairs on the left, going down, there's like, cells that are around here. And it was the eighth cell. And I went in there and for some reason I put the EVP recorder down and I said, if you want to say anything right now, what would you say? Right. And what came through was let me out. So I was like, okay. I kind of jumped a little bit because it came out through the thing loud. So I jumped and skipped a little bit and I was like, holy shit, that was cool. And then I brought somebody back in and they felt like they were wanting to cross over and stuff.
Hmm.
Like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, no. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And they didn't
Yeah,
know what they were doing. So I was like, maybe we shouldn't, you know?
yeah, that makes
And we're,
sense.
and we're also
Yeah.
sitting in a restricted housing unit. Like this person could have did something really bad for all we know. And maybe that is their how do you say this? Maybe like they're living hell for them and they're just experiencing that over and over for whatever they did. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. I can't make that decision.
Interesting. Okay, that's fair.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um,
Definitely.
I feel like that's different than building owners who
Yeah.
won't let you cross people up, because I do know how to do it. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
So, I'm very well versed in how to do it, but there are some building owners that like, no, you can't release any of the spirits here because we're making money because they're here. And
As
I'm
if
It's
like,
per-
it was bad
that's
to me.
slavery. I'm
yep.
sorry.
I was
That
about ready
is
to
the
say that.
definition of slavery. So, yeah, I'm really torn on the whole
I feel like
subject.
they need the most love then because it's
Hmm.
like they were getting treated like fucking circus animals in their waking life and they're getting treated like circus animals now.
Hmm.
So if
Yeah.
you're having to be stuck here like that, you know what? Then I'm gonna come visit you as much as possible and show you that you can still be happy here.
There's still people out here that care for them.
Yes, and that's
Hmm.
my biggest thing is that I feel like people just do it for the money. They do it for the rankings. They do it, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people are just in it for the wrong reasons. And it all comes back. That's why I say, like, I don't mean this in the wrong way at
Hmm.
all. It's not about you anymore.
Right.
You know, we
Yeah.
all know that there's another we all know there has to be other life forms, right? We cannot be the only people here. And the people that fully believe that we are the ones that aren't out here ghost hunting. They're the
Right.
Yeah.
ones that are like, that's no, that's bad, things like that. They would never do something like this.
Hmm.
The people that are in the community, it's not about I just had the most incredible evidence. I just captured this or that. Like, I mean, I do my stuff. If I go in there and I get stuff, great, I'll share it out. If not, I'm like, whatever. At the end of the day, I know that I went in. and I had a good time with them.
Hmm.
And for me, that's all that matters to me. So I don't know. I just enjoy, I look at it differently sometimes. And that's my biggest thing is with the Haunted Raven is bringing it back to them. It's
Hmm.
bringing the attention back to the spirits, people who want to come to that event, absolutely, you're always welcome to. But if you don't agree with that, then, there's plenty of other companies out there that you can try. I know a lot of good companies out there. But for me, it's just it's about going back to them and showing them that we really do care. We're not here
Hmm.
to ask you this 10 question that you've been asked for like the last 10 nights. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because it's
What's
like,
your name? How old are you? How long have you been here? How did you die? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yep. Do
exactly.
you like it here?
Do
Yeah,
you?
like I mean, you're gonna get those with the people who are new with this, right? Because they
Hmm.
don't know what else to ask. But after you do it for a while, then it's like, okay, let's get deeper with this.
Right.
Let's really bring it back and talk about you. Like, who are you as a spirit? What's your name? Todd? Okay, cool. What was your best memory? Like, we put spirit boxes out there. You can have a
Right.
full conversation with them. You can ask EVPs. Sometimes when you ask things like that, you would get the craziest EVPs. Some
Hmm.
super clear. It's just when you make it about them more so, then it's like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
Now, have you worked with any mediums with your events?
I have.
Yeah.
I let's see, I had one, her name was Nicole. I did an event last year at the Hinza House, and we had some off the charts activity. But I mean, I feel like there anyways, if there's a medium there, there's not a medium there, that house will do what it wants and show you whatever it wants to show you.
Hmm.
That's another place that I've investigated a lot at, and we had a really good event. So,
Nice.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
mhm,
I know there
Yeah.
are some groups in this area, and I'm in the Milwaukee area,
mhm.
who don't allow mediums on their teams because they want pure science, empirical evidence. And I'm like, good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, my thing is that I like to try to approach things as science-based.
Hmm.
I also want to approach them in a spiritual sense as well. I think if you
Right.
can put the two together, then you can really get some really good stuff.
I completely agree with
I
you.
agree.
Yeah,
Mhm.
completely agree with that.
You gotta think about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
You're the world, right?
right.
You gotta have some sort of spiritual belief in that. Maybe not even belief, but you know what? Try a few things. Because at the end of the day, if you're using a pendulum or
Hmm.
dowsing, those are spiritual objects and tools. So if
Right.
Yep.
you're that, you might as well keep looking at it. Like I know that there's obviously what is it, the dowsing rods.
Hmm.
They have scientific background, right? Uh, but it's still a scientific or a spiritual tool at the same time. So if you're going to use those, why not look at it and open your mind up just a little bit more? You'd be surprised of what you end up experiencing.
Right.
Yep.
If you
Right.
do it based off of equipment, what are you doing? Or scientific, you're just basing it off of the equipments, right? At
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
point.
My feeling is bringing a medium in gives context to the information the tools are getting.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. I've
Yeah.
worked with quite a few different psychics
Hmm.
over the years, and I've gotten an incredible activity, information sometimes even. Hell, things that may not have been in historical texts that they had found and for where a location, sorry, I had an itch in my leg.
No
Uh,
problem.
or where a location ends up going into the history just a bit deeper, and they're like, "Holy shit!" Like you uncovered something, you know.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
I always, yeah, absolutely. I have
Yeah.
no issue bringing mediums in.
I love that
Very cool.
because it just rounds out the information and it rounds out the whole experience
Oh,
when you
absolutely.
have people who
Yep.
can communicate on a deeper level.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think definitely it's important to have them when you do these events and you do investigations.
Mhm.
You know, to get a human to repeat itself over and over again is hard. Now you're expecting a spirit to do the same thing. And a lot of times I get a phrase that when I'm asking the equipment to do things over and over again, I get the phrase that pops in my head commonly. It's, stupid human tricks. And it's like, well, we're not trying to make you do stupid human tricks. We're trying to open that line of communication with you.
Hmm.
And some of the spirits, they like using the equipment, others won't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, I think too when you bring in people like that, um, almost tend to bring them out more
Hmm. I
because
agree.
Same.
I've been to um seeing it, investigating places with one. You get really good stuff, and then you go back without one, and it's like,
Yeah.
we're here, but we don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yep.
So, I think it's always good to kind of bring those in every now and then to really kind of amp it up too. And like you said, have a completely different approach to it all.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I can honestly say I don't think I've been to any of the famous ones. Like I haven't gone to Waverly Hills. I haven't gone to Hinsdale. I haven't gone to any of those.
Yeah.
The one that I did go to no longer exists. And I was just out of high school when I went to that one. I had no idea what I was doing. But I
Mhm.
went with a group of people to an abandoned asylum.
Yep.
And um, yeah, that was a profound experience. You know, I mean, the building was falling down. We had no business being in there. I can't believe we got in and out without getting hurt.
Yeah.
But there was that's I mean, I knew even before that I was psychic. I've known my whole life I was psychic. But we're walking through there and I'm hearing voices. I'm hearing crying. I'm hearing groaning. I'm hearing wheelchairs, squeaky wheelchairs moving.
I've
You
been
know,
there.
and I'm hearing all this stuff. And I was with a group of people, there was like 30 of us. Nobody else was hearing this stuff except for one guy. And he wouldn't admit it then, but he talked to me about it later.
Hmm.
But it was really, it was kind of a spiritual awakening for me. Because, like I said, I mean, I've always known I was psychic. I've talked to dead people since I was a little kid,
Mhm.
but it was on a different level. It was like a more raw level, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Because these people weren't hiding anything. Like these spirits were just out there. Like they weren't hiding anything. It was disturbing to see the chains on the walls in the basement, you know, the shackles and that sort of. It was really disturbing. Um, but yeah, I see your appeal for asylums
Hmm.
because those of us who are naturally drawn to helping people are going to go where people need help.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm definitely one of them.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So I totally understand your draw to asylums.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's um there's one that's near me that is it's got my heart 100%. And it's so obviously I live out in New England area.
Oh, you
Um
do? Okay.
so I go to Connecticut a lot and I visit Norwich State Asylum a lot, or Norwich State Hospital, sorry. And
Okay.
Okay.
my favorite place to be. There's days I go there, I'll bring flowers. I would um there's days I would bring like a muffin or something and just sit there and eat with them. I'd break it in half. Here you go, this is for you. You know, I'd bring water. Here you go, that's for you. I've brought flowers in there and I'll walk around, I take photos nonstop. Every time I go, I always just take photos because I always find something different or I don't know. It's a place that makes me happy.
Hmm.
Um, and I have such beautiful experiences in there. A lot. I don't experience a lot of negativity in there.
Hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
I've have, you know, I feel like sometimes even at night, because I've had permission to go in there at night and investigate and things like that. And at night it definitely takes it's like a whole flip. And it can get pretty scary in there. But there's just it's crazy because you talk about things like with gifts, and I had a dream one night before I went there, and I saw this I think they're called chickadees. I could be wrong. It was a type of bird, and I
Hmm.
have a big thing with birds. Obviously the raven, right? Um, and I go in, and the first building that I go into, I do believe is the men's dormitories, or and I went into the first door. Boom! I'm in this hallway of stairs. And what's spray painted on the wall? It's the same bird that I saw in my dream. And it says, "Am I dreaming?" I'm
Huh.
like, okay, that's interesting. So, you know, we go in
Yeah.
and it's actually where I had the person in one of the rooms telling me demon, the devil, and all that. So I was like, all right, we're gonna go upstairs, right? So we go upstairs and got a weird type of feeling up there. go down and around. We go to a different building, and you get a lot of love out of one. You feel it almost like
Hmm.
it's not. It's hard to explain. It's not, with it negative, you get like you just feel super uncomfortable, and then you're just like, I'm gonna get out. And then you go into the other building, and it's just you don't feel that. You feel kind of like their pain,
Hmm.
and you feel almost as if like being in there, they appreciate it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I always go into there, and I always go into the lipid building because it's just that building alone. That's where they held a lot of the forced sterilizations, the lobotomies, and things like that. And that one I feel like is just I mostly feel troublesome
Yeah.
and scared and obviously alone. There's a lot of emotions that go through that building: anger, scared, happiness. Because I was at one point they were all happy. It was their home. There's so much history behind it, and it's an incredible place. And the spirits there, I'm always pulled to them. So I don't
You know,
know if
can we back it up for a quick second here? You said something I actually really liked that you do. When you go in there and you're sharing food with them, you're breaking bread with them. Um, I really enjoy the fact that you're doing that because from the native side of beliefs, we actually leave out spirit plates for our loved ones, for those that, at certain times for celebrations or to honor them. So by doing that, that's a really cool thing that, you doing that on your own without knowing the past, what that past history of that has been in other cultures.
I was
I'll
thinking the
give you
same
props for
thing.
that. I
Yeah.
definitely give you props for that, buddy.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And it's not like I do it just to do it because I'm like, if I'm eating, well, if I'm hungry, they're probably hungry, so I'm gonna bring something with me. And a lot of times I'll sit there, I'll sit on the floor, or if there's like a broken bed or something or whatever, I'll
Hmm.
sit there and enjoy it with them. There's
Yeah.
times I walk through the halls, I play music for them, and obviously it's nothing new age, but I play things like from like back in their times. I'll walk through like 20s music, sometimes from the 50s, and I just walk through. There's times I've even played some from the 70s in there, and
You
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
actually
I
we
like that.
know someone that has a building that's haunted that they play music from all likes and all genres from all times, and they'll catch stuff on the SLS camera of them dancing in the building.
crazy that you
It's
say
cool.
that. So, what was it? So Penhurst Asylum, right? Uh, so I used to work for a ghost hunting company, right? And we had an event there, and I'll never forget this day. So we were down in the infirmary building, right? It was somebody else running the group session. I think I was just attending the event, kind of like as a guest at this point. I had my mom with me, my sister with me, because they both really wanted to go to Penhurst and check it out. So we're down in the infirmary, and one of the investigators is running the group, and he had out tripwire and I think a few cat balls. There was a guest there that felt ill or whatever. So I kind of just walked him back over to the picnic tables, and by the time I got back, I couldn't find my mom. So I was like, I'm not about to try to like go in through all these guests. I'm just gonna sit over here with the person with the investigator. I'm just gonna sit down, right? And he did this cool thing that I liked that he did, and where he basically will ask the spirits like using the tripwire and saying like, do you like music? What if you can light the ear ups on the year that I say, and light them up, then we'll look for music during that year frame, right? So he'd go through and he said 20s, and then the thing like lit up, right? So he's like, all right. He's like, I don't really know anything. And all of a sudden, I'm just seeing trumpets, big bands. I'm like, play something like this. I was like, I don't know what it's called, but the big bands type of stuff. And he's like, okay. And he's looking up something, and the lights they're going. And so then all of a sudden he's like, do you want to hear more? And the whole strip lit up again. So he's like, okay. You're like, what do you want to hear? And somebody said something about some sort of song, and I was like, no, 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 no. I was like, that's not it. That's not what they want to hear. I said, I was seeing Louis Armstrong, but I couldn't think of the name. I was like, who's the man that plays the trumpet from like the 20s era? I was like, I was like, I don't mean any disrespect. I said, but he's a black guy. He plays the trumpet. He's fucking incredible with it. And they're like, Louis Armstrong. I was like, bingo, there you go. I said, look up something by him.
Mhm.
He's looking, he's like, holy shit. He's like, fuck, like my service isn't, it's not loading anything. So I was like, all right, hold on, I got you. Let me see if I have service and then I'll, look up something. So I pull my phone out, right? And I'm looking through and then I clicked in, I saw the essentials, right? And then I'm like, I looked at him like, scrolled out of that. And then all of a sudden I saw What a Wonderful World, right? So I clicked on that one.
Yep.
I turned it up and the energy that ran through there, what I felt, because I had chills going
Mhm.
down my spine in such a good way. And like you said with
Yeah.
the dancing, it's almost like the whole building just came to life. And it wasn't in a bad way. It was in such a good way. And that's all I could feel is like the nurses were just dancing down the hall, singing the songs. And it was such an incredible moment. The activity, it's like the whole tripwire just kept going up and down and going off. And it was incredible. And so it's like for when as soon as you said dancing, I'm like, fuck, that brought me
Yep.
right back at Penthurst. And when you get things like that, I don't know. It as you can see, it makes me excited because it's
Right.
good.
We
What's
recently
your,
had that. We
yeah,
just Rez and I recently did an investigation together,
Mhm.
and there was a spirit of a lady who wanted to hear a song from the 70s, a country song from the 70s.
Mhm.
And Rez was like, "I got you." Pulls it right up on his phone and played Delta Dawn.
Yep.
And
you
she
know,
was just, and other people started seeing her who don't normally see spirits like that, started
Mhm.
seeing her dancing,
yep.
like
Right.
just with their third eye or whatever. Yeah.
That's incredible. See, I
Yeah.
love things like that happen.
Yeah. That was a pretty cool night.
Yeah, it was.
Despite the
That it
fact that
was.
Rez was sick.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
It
I
happens.
being sick, I still would have went anyways too. So
Right.
You know,
Yeah. I like the way you approach things.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I
yeah.
like the way you approach it because so many people are just, they have their blinders on and they're like, we're going to prove ghosts exist. Ghosts don't care whether you prove it or not, and they're not necessarily going to play your game to let you prove it.
Mhm. Oh, I this is what I used to tell people all the time.
Yeah.
We bring you guys in. I can't guarantee you that we're gonna have a full active night. That's not
Mhm.
something I can guarantee you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So what I can make sure is that you have a really good time, and I'll be happy with that. I'm gonna do
Hmm.
everything that I can. It's not like that these ghosts are like, oh, time to get up. It's about 2 in the morning, clocking in. Let's go scare some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not how
Right.
it works. So I mean, I've walked. People were like, "Do you think that they come out during the day?" I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have some that are night owls and will be out through the night. You have some that are day. I was like, I've had some experiences walking through buildings and you just hear them walking behind you. Crescent was one.
Hmm.
Indiana State Sanatorium is another one. Norwich was another one. We're just walking through the day. I was walking through the orphanage building and I swear it was like I thought like another explorer or something, right? Was just running down the stairs. I'm like, whoa, hey, like look, dude, I'm not trying to scare you, nothing. I'm another explorer. And I'm looking, I'm like, there's no fucking way, right? And I just took a running there. And I ran down all the halls, looked in all the fucking rooms. Nobody, and we didn't hear it again, like we didn't hear anything else for a little bit. I'm like, somebody literally just ran either up or down these stairs. Like it was loud. Even my mom kind of backed up because she was there with me. And she's like, the fuck was that? I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna assume that it's a spirit at this point because there's nobody else in these buildings right now.
Hmm.
And then just being there, and then all of a sudden I'd hear the crunching in the paint chips as if somebody was walking up behind you. And so then I turn, and if I focus on it, it would stop, right?
Hmm.
Yep.
I sit there and I'm looking at my mom, and I have my camera rolling at this point because I'm like, I know they're here, right? So I'm like, I'm looking at you, right? And we're having just a normal conversation. She goes, "What do you, I don't understand." Like, just go with it. We're having a normal conversation because we're not paying attention to what's going on behind us. I was like, look at that. Look at the mold over here. Look at that. I'm like, look at that paint. Such a nice color. And you hear them crunching around us. I'm like, I looked at it, I was like, see, just keep the conversation going. And
Yes.
Right.
hear them. And we played it back and you heard it through the phone. So that's what I was like, see, I say, you don't sit there and pay attention to them. they're gonna sit there and keep doing their thing. They're gonna keep walking through. They're probably nosy about what you're doing. And when I go in, I'm always like, hey, I'm about to walk through your building. If
You
you want
know,
to join me, feel free to. I'm here taking photos. If you want to jump in and be in the photo as well, I love that. If not, that's cool too.
Hmm.
So
you know,
Schools just popped into my head. Have you investigated at many schools?
no, but I really want to.
Now,
Post,
one of my favorite places is Broadhead Manor. It's in Broadhead, Wisconsin, and very haunted school.
is
No
it?
one, yeah, no one ever died there, as far as they know. There's been no evidence of that, but there are a lot of child spirits there because it's been many different grade levels and whatever and different things over the years, and it's just very active with kids who love to play.
Hmm. I would
Yeah,
love, yeah, I might actually have to come and check that one out.
yeah,
There's another one that I keep seeing that's been coming up recently is the Post Town Elementary. I think that one's in Ohio. I know that
okay,
one I was kind of looking at trying to get to at some point. Um, I had gotten invited to an investigation for it, but unfortunately, like the dates ended up going the same weekend that I'm going to be at Penhurst, their Paracon that they're having.
okay,
So it didn't line up right, but I have been looking at schools because I'm very intrigued because like you said, like not a lot of deaths, but it's like clearly these spirits there had a great time and loved it enough to go back in the afterlife.
right. Plus,
That's
there's
kind
a
of
lot of residual energy in schools,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
because I mean, think about back to when you were going to school, kids, energy.
Mhm.
There's a lot of residual there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They'd be
Never
that
gets cleared out.
no, definitely
no,
not.
No, I was just curious because I love going to schools. And schools at night have a creep factor. I don't care what anybody says. Schools at
Yeah,
night are creepy. And I can't figure out why they're creepy at night, but they are. Probably because there's
I,
supposed to be activity and there isn't. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know.
I
I'm
don't know.
drawn to the old one-room schoolhouses and the old churches.
Where'd your
Those are
sound go, buddy?
oh, can you hear me now?
A little bit. You're pretty muffled yet.
Well, what the hell?
I don't know.
Everything just kind of took a dump on me, huh?
I can hear you, but you're very quiet.
All right, let me try back and I'll come back in. So you guys keep talking
All right,
so I
we'll
can.
keep talking. So, I was actually going to ask you a question about the sanatoriums. Are you an empath? Do you feel what they felt or what
Yes.
they're feeling in the moment? Okay.
I don't typically announce what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there's so many people that'll sit there and either talk bad about you or doubt you, and I'm like, look, I don't really need to give you an explanation. There's a lot of things that I experience. There's a lot of things that happens to me for where I cannot explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I know
I'm back.
a lot
Now
of
we
people.
can hear you.
Uh,
All right.
I do feel a lot of things. Yes,
Yeah.
100%. That's something I'm not gonna lie. There was actually speaking of, for instance, I don't know if this is like predicting future or maybe it was just a weird coincidence. But I had went to Norwich a few days before I was about to investigate it with friends, and I had my mom. There's sometimes I kind of test my stuff, right? And I'll have my mom having like a journal, and I'll sit there and say whatever comes to my mind, and I'm just like, just write it down. I'll look for it later, but at whatever comes to my mind, I don't want to forget it, so just write it down, right? So we've done that a couple times, and this certain time was interesting because I got the name Lisa and Michael, right? Now these could be spirits in there,
Mm-hmm.
so they could have been ones that I was just picking up on. Um, but when we went there that night, we went into the Lippitt building. We were about to investigate that one, and other explorers or investigators decided to come that night, scare the living shit out of us. But we were in the lobotomy room, and they came in, and we didn't know their names. Obviously, they were kind of like, "Hey, can we join you?" And we're like, "Sure, okay, we're already here."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we were doing an Estes method, and the medium, Nicole, she was under,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden it's like they just said something about, "Do you remember us?" And so I kind of stopped talking and let them kind of do their thing because they had quite a story. They investigate there a lot, and something happened where they predicted her. I guess she was pregnant, and her water broke that
Mhm.
night. I was like, "Holy shit!" And it came through like the spirit box, like, "Oh, you're about to have a baby," or something along the lines of that. And next thing you know, her water broke, and I'm like, "Oh, did they do that?" Like, I mean, technically, you're in a hospital, right? So, but then he goes, "Yeah, do you remember Lisa?" And she's like, "Well, that's Michael." And I'm like, "No fucking way."
Yeah.
Weird coincidence? Could be. Could it have been the spirits there as well? That's another, it's possible, you know?
Mhm.
Was that a psychic moment or, whatever, medium moment? I'm not quite sure. There's things about the things that I can do that I'm still learning. Am I gonna go out there and say that I'm 100% and confident with everything that I do? No,
Mhm. No.
I'm still learning.
I've been doing this for decades and I'm still not 100% confident in everything I do because things are always different. I've never had two identical investigations ever.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's always different.
And that's what I love about it.
Mm,
That's
Yeah.
one of the many things I love about it. But yeah, I love that it's never the same.
yeah, absolutely. And it's an interesting field,
Hmm.
paranormal in general. It's almost, what is it? Forrest Gump saying life's like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
On vacations are like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get,
Yeah.
Exactly.
which is, I think, the most fun part.
Me
Like
too.
it's like almost like an adrenaline rush too, you know?
Hmm.
You get excited, you get amped up, and it's like, and then when you have the activity that happens, and it's like your mind is just blown, and you're excited about it, and next thing you know, you find yourself booking the next place, and then the next one, and then it just is addictive at that point. So.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rez. You look like you're get chomping at the bit to say something there.
Oh, so many different questions. I don't even know where to start. Yeah. Well, that's the typical one I ask everyone that comes on that's an investigator.
Mhm.
Have you had your oh shit moment yet? The one where or when that everything just stops and it blows your mind completely, whether it scared you out of a building or made you second guess what you're doing. Have you had one of them moments yet?
Yeah. And I'm
Tell us
actually
about it.
curious actually to see what you say about it because it happened on native lands.
Okay.
So it was the one and only Hinsdale house, and it was last year during the event. Um, what we experienced that night, I actually usually when I come home, they always ask me how was it, and I just like, nope, I don't want to talk about it because I'm like, what we experienced that night, just I didn't know how to wrap my head around it because it wasn't exactly paranormal. I don't think. I think it was more cryptid level.
Okay.
For me, I'm like, I don't know much about them. I'm learning. Like, I've been looking up puckwudgies because obviously I'm in Massachusetts and we have the
Right.
Bridgewater Triangle where they're highly located. I had quite an experience out there, but it didn't scare me as much as like that because this was daylight. What happened here was completely at night. I don't know, how do you guys know much about the Hinza house?
I know a little bit. I've seen quite a few different shows that have filmed out there. I've yet
Okay.
to make it
Oh,
out there
Yeah. I don't
myself
know
yet.
anything about it.
okay. So, I'll do just a quick kind of explanation over this place. All right. So this place is, I like to call a mystery house. You really never know what you're going to experience at this location. And I've had quite a few different types of experiences, right? I've had an experience there that some would consider being demonic, right? Was it? I don't know. I'm not an expert to really say, yes, that was 100% demonic. I know that it pulled things from my past that I don't know how it could have known. It antagonized me in specifics. The spirit box session that was going, the things that were coming across it. Um, I've prayed, it had me praying for the first time to angels that I didn't really know if I believed in. And when they come through, it was like, okay. I started believing them, which is actually
Thank you
one of
very
the,
much.
yeah. That's what I ended up wearing something
Yeah.
as protection because I'm like, you showed stuff, okay, cool. You got me, I got you. Um, and we smelled incense in the basement. No incense was burned, but it smelled like frankincense, and it was one of the, I prayed to Saint Benedict that night. It was a weird night. So what we
They've
experienced was pretty
that
crazy.
might be residual from when they tried to exercise the house back in the day,
It could have been.
and when it failed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, is that anything? Maybe not, right? Um, so I've had that type of experience there. I've had actually a really good investigation there where we had a lot of I feel like we experienced more of the stagecoach robbers. Almost like it was well, I would describe it as is we stepped into their time because
Mhm.
they're doing what they normally did. I mean, when we were in the woods investigating with the spirit box, that thing was going off saying things like, get down, they'll see you, like, where are we hiding the money? Like all of that crazy stuff. So I'm like, okay, like it sounds like we're dealing with the stagecoach robbers, which is kind of cool because it's a historical fact about this location. So there's evidence that, hey, they're here. We go into the house, then you hear things like going down the street, which is where they would hide at. They would hide out and wait for the people to come and then lie to them about this amazing place that they had up the street, and then bring them there. And we experienced all of that. So that was cool. Like that's why I was like, that was the first night of the event. So I had the guests that had experienced that. They all had a great time. It was good. It was light. And then it's like a whole 360 in the next night. And
Mhm.
it got very, I guess you could say dark. Um, I think with Nicole, what she was saying, based off of because she researches the hell out of these locations, the land, things that happened around the land, things like that, right? So she found a lot of good information out. And what we think could be the natives, right, that are pissed off. You have people coming into their house, or sorry, not on a house that's on their land, and trying to do this is, what Nicole said was that you have these individuals like the white men, right, that they're seeing coming in and doing things of Christian like exorcisms, putting all this stuff in the house, holy water, all those things that they weren't exactly for. So what if they're looking at it as like a disrespect? And that's why they're amping everything up because they're pissed off, right? So I was like, okay, you have a really solid point with that. Um, but it got to a point where um I have an EVP for where it mimicked my voice and completely changed what I said. I freaked out at that because I was like, whoa, like I've never had something like change what I said, and it was a weird moment. And um we had two girls that it was their first investigation ever. And after they left, I was like, I don't think they'll ever investigate again. I think like it's not like we tried, just the activity. It got dark pretty quick.
Mhm.
Um, and then we all were like, okay, we're gonna go outside, right? Because a lot's happening in the house. We're gonna go outside. We're gonna take a break, right? I had the fire
Mhm.
going out back in the fire pit. So I was like, let's just go out there. We can have a drink. Cool. Like everybody grab a water. We can calm down, and just relax for a minute before we go into another session. Everybody's like, yes, let's do it. Let's go. Right. So we go out, and we're all out there. We're talking, about what's going on. We're all standing by the fire trying to keep warm and stuff. And the next thing you know, this is where I wanted your input on all of this because all of a sudden we had an owl sound happen, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I hike, right? I don't hunt. I don't sit there and study animals like that. So obviously I don't know much about owls, but I thought it was very odd how it was acting, right? So we're all sitting here talking. We're talking about the activity, and then that's when I noticed the owl because what I heard was it was here, behind me. Then you'd hear it over here, and then over here. And then it'd go boom, 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 boom. It would just start going faster. In fact, I feel like we're being surrounded right now by an owl. Like, what in the hell? Like, I've never, and we had a skeptic of the group, which is great. I always
Yep.
applaud skeptics to come because it's like, help
Yeah.
us to debunk this stuff. And to the point we can't anymore. And he was like, I hunt, I do all this stuff, right? That's normal for an owl to sound like that. And I'm like, I don't know if it is. Like, I was like, I don't think it is, but I appreciate it. We'll go with that, right?
Are
So
you
we
sure
Yep.
it was one owl?
no, but this is where it gets weirder. Oh, this is
Okay.
start.
All right.
So, so then we're just hearing it gets going, 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 and I get to the point. I'm like, no, 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 like this is ridiculous. I feel like we're being surrounded by either an owl, multiple owls, and if that's the case, I don't want to be here when they show up, or something else out there that could be mimicking an owl sound, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? I hollered out to the woods. Because I was like, hey, if that's really you out there, if you're a spirit form, right, pretending to be an owl, break a branch. I was like, you're in the woods, break a branch. Silence. It went dead quiet, which he even said you could have scared them off, right? Absolutely, because I was yelling pretty loud because I was a little scared. I'm like, I felt like we were dealing with something that I don't know much about. So if I don't know much about it, I'm like, I can do ghosts all day.
Mhm.
This, I don't know. I mean, I've been doing my research now because I'm like, if I ever come into a situation like that again, like, how can we handle this better?
Mhm.
Um, and it just, for hours, the owl never started up again. So I was like,
Yep.
okay, right. I had a trail cam in the woods. I had placed it in there at daytime, right before the guests started to arrive. It's probably about 3, 4 o'clock, right? Fresh batteries in them. So while that stopped, I looked at Nicole and I looked at the guests. I was like, the trail cam. That's a got it had to have catch something, right? Because I had it over by the tree. They have a tree out there that they kind of call like the giving tree. So
Yep.
people put things on there as a sign of respect, like here, thank you for allowing us in your space, your house, on your land, all of that stuff, right? And so I'm like, it's literally facing the tree. And it's got the two on the side, so it has a pretty wide, space or area. It captures quite a bit, right? So I was like, I'm not going in there by myself after all of that. I was like, Nicole, come on. So everybody's like, we're just gonna all go in as a group. I was like, there we go. I like that. Let's all go in, right? So I went in, I grabbed it after that. We go back inside and we have even crazier activity happening inside, right? So then we go back outside. And at this point, the guests are getting ready to leave. I think it's probably like 3, 4 in the morning at this point. And so all the guests leave. And so me and Nicole were kind of like staying back because we had the location until 10 in the morning. So we're like, yeah, we can stay a little bit longer. She wanted to do like an extra hour or so in the house. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. We kind of sat by the fire for a little bit and we're talking and talking. And then all of a sudden we hear it fucking owl back. And I'm just, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, Nicole, we're alone now. Like, she's like, probably nothing. And I'm like, no. And then, so I'm like, all right. I had the kayak out, right? Because there's a pond over there. So the owner allows people to use the kayak if they want to go out there at night and try to capture something. Yeah,
Mhm.
free game. Go have fun, right? So nobody used it. um, but I have like, fuck, I can't leave it out there. Like, I've got to go bring it back. So I was like, come with me. We go and we're getting closer to the thing and we're talking. And then all of a sudden I saw something that looked grayish dart into the bushes. And I'm like, I got to a point where my feet just stopped walking. And Nicole just kind of looks back. She's like, are you coming? I'm like, I can't move my feet. It's like I just saw something.
Yeah.
I can't move my feet right now. I said, Nicole, I'm trying, because I don't want to be stuck out here. And then all of a sudden I got it for where I could move my feet again. And I just went to that kayak. And you know how the kayaks they have like this little hook thing on the end? I just grabbed that thing. She was supposed to help carry it, and I just hauled ass. She's like, don't you need help? I was like, nope, we're going. So we go and we go back. I get it into the garage and I'm trying to pull this thing down, right? and it's like stuck almost. And we hear the sound again of the owl. But what's worse is that it started off as an owl sound and went to something that just sounded off.
Okay.
It didn't sound right at all. And the sound never stopped. Like it's like I said, like it wasn't like you have the owl sound and then stops and then something different. It just owl sound completely transformed into something else. And I'm like, what the hell? And then that's when I don't know if she saw it or not, but I saw what looked like something gray drop down into the bushes, and I fucking closed that thing, locked it, made and took off back. I literally walked back into the house like this, and we're in there. I took off running. She's like, I thought she ran too. She says she didn't. I didn't care. I ran. We're by
No
ourselves.
shame in your game.
I was like, I'm
No.
brave right now. Like we're experiencing some crazy stuff. Boom, in the house. And the whole time I'm just like I'm packing my stuff, and she's like, "Whoa, whoa, what are we doing?" She's like, "We have another. I thought we were gonna do another session." I'm like, I'm still looking down. I'm like, "Yeah, we can do one. That's fine. I'm just making sure that when we're done, we can get out." And she's like, "Okay, you good?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Why don't I said, "I wanna look at the windows?" I said, "If I look at the windows, I feel like I'm gonna see something, and it's something I don't want to see, right?" I said, "So I'm not looking at the window." And we got everything packed, and I'm telling you, every time I felt an urge to look at the windows, it's like this chill would run down my spine. I'm like, no, absolutely not. We go into the living room, and I'm sitting down on the couch. I put my hat down like this because I'm just like, I don't want to see nothing. No, yeah. And we do like I'm almost falling asleep. I don't want to sleep there. You know, we ended up leaving, and that was that. And I haven't been back since. There's a part of me that wants to because I want to dive more into the land part of it all and investigate the native side of it and see what could come up. Um, but will I be scared about it? Probably, because like I said, what I experienced there, I don't know what I saw. I can't put a name to what I saw. Somebody was trying to say it was a skinwalker, but I'm like, they're not in that area, not in New
No,
York, you know.
Mm-mm.
But then you have
no.
someone else that was like, oh, what if it's a Wendigo? I'm like, stop, right where you're at, you know.
Yeah.
But those are no different than a skinwalker. They're similar, and those are technically in those areas. It's
Yep.
like,
Wendigo, the Algonquins, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
But I don't know. From hearing that, I have a little bit of a similar story, not as scary, but I remember a while years ago I was out on the reservation and my brother's out in our front yard and realized I'm surrounded by woods. He's like, "Come on here and listen to this. There's an owl hoot." And it sounded like it was really close, really loud.
mm-mm.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll hoot back at him, see if he'll shut up." I hoot, he hoots back at me. Well, this goes on a couple of times, and my brother goes, "I'm gonna hoot." And he hoots, not a word from the owl, not a peep, nothing. Wait a few
Interesting.
minutes. I'm like, wait a few minutes. I'm going, all right, I'm gonna try it again. As soon as I hoot, that owl hooted right back at me. So
No,
I've always looked at owls being messengers.
Yes.
yeah,
So there was a message there.
hmm,
Some say bad messages. I just say messages in general.
yep,
Now, I think what yours started out as a message and kind of took that paranormal twist where once whatever was on the land there that wanted to mess with you, seen your reaction to it and said, I got you now.
Yeah.
yep,
I know how to get to you.
Yep.
oh,
And that's where that twist came from
Yep.
with the apparitions you're seeing, because you gave it exactly what it was looking
mhm,
for the reaction of fear.
yeah,
And that's what some of these things feed on. They get off on it. And I really think
that's true.
that's what it was. You know,
Yeah.
it showed you the apparitions. It showed you, it gave you the hearing sensation. And then for you to, afterwards, after coming in the house, not wanting to look out the window, that just, you just made its night.
Yeah.
Whatever it was that was there to mess
Yeah.
with
Oh yeah.
you.
And I've had people, so I have a really good friend of mine who is a really good medium, and I trust everything that comes out of that woman's mouth, 100%. Um, she was on one of my live streams, and she said that there's somebody that keeps looking in the window. She said like he's not allowed inside the house though. He can't ever come in.
Yep.
He watches from the window, and I'm like, that's fucking terrifying. Like, why can't he come in the house? What happened there? But yeah,
I've heard other shows talking about a
Mhm.
creeper, a window creeper there. You
see,
know,
I- it was such excuse me, it was such a weird experience that night. And that's why as soon as it like I had somebody telling me, what if it was this, what if it was that? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say I saw a figure wearing like a deer head or a skull of some sort with the antlers wearing a cloak. No, I did not see that.
yeah.
I see anything that looked like
But
a skinwalker? No. But what I saw was a figure of something, like you said, like an apparition of something. I'm used to seeing black apparitions, so for it to look gray completely threw my mind through a loop, you
yeah,
know?
I hear
So
gray and my mind goes to cryptid, like some kind of a cryptid. I
mhm.
don't know what
yeah.
kind, but it that's
Somebody
where
said
my
alien.
mind goes with
I
the
was like,
cryptid.
no. I
But
said no.
also, also back with the Legend of the Wendigo,
Mhm.
I'm not sure where the whole antler and skull thing came from. When
Yeah.
I was taught that legend, it was more of a gray, emaciated person, that has chewed its own lips off and chewed its own fingers off
Yeah,
for
that's the
that
way I was taught
Were
lust,
too.
cannibals, weren't they? They
you
became
know.
cannibals because they got to a point and they started eating each other, and then
Yeah,
they took the form, almost looking like zombies, right?
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
That's the best way you could probably explain because like if there's
Yeah, in today's pop culture, it'd be like
Yeah.
kind of zombie looking,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, this has been a really interesting conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I could talk about this stuff all day, and especially
Yeah.
like some types of feedback. Like, I really want to dive into more native stuff with the cryptids and stuff. I mean, you have the Algonquin here,
yep.
um, and
I'm
what is it? The Hockomock Swamp, right? So you have the Bridgewater Triangle, the Hockomock Swamp. That's where I've experienced the Puckwudgies. Um, but it's like I don't know. I really want to try to start branching and like just researching even more stuff because they're here.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Appalachian Mountains itself that everybody knows, you know what I mean? Even for
Hmm.
instance on the reservations, even you guys know, like, hey, during these times we don't go outside. Nah.
Yeah.
You hear something, you didn't type of shit.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like they're definitely here. And I
Yeah.
fully respect like the whole native side of things. And
Mhm.
I've been doing a lot of more research in regards to stuff like that. Because it's interesting. This stuff,
Yeah.
it's paranormal. That's what makes it all paranormal because it's stuff that you can't explain.
Right. It's
Yeah.
outside of our outside of our five sentences. Right.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
it's
So,
so
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Drew, thank you very much. We're kind of running short on time here, but I really appreciate the energy that you've brought to the show. And
Absolutely.
the stories have been amazingly entertaining. I so much appreciate that.
Yeah,
Um,
I get told I'm a good storyteller. I get very dramatic with some of the things I say.
I love it. You're a great storyteller. It's awesome. Um,
I think in the future we definitely have to
yeah,
bring him back to hear some more about some of these events he's been doing. And
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. Yep.
you got any events coming up you want to plug?
So I actually have one coming up next month. I actually only have about 5 tickets left for that event, and I'm doing it at the Fairfield County Infirmary in Lancaster, Ohio. It's running from about 8:30. I'm gonna check guests in about 8 o'clock. Get it started at 8:30, and it's gonna finish around 3 in the morning.
What was the date on that?
It is Saturday, April 27th.
Okay.
So it's $119 a person, but you get pizza included, you get refreshments throughout the night, plus the investigations, and I have equipment that everybody's able to use at no extra charge. So everything that's happening that night, it's all included into that price. So it's like an
Awesome.
Okay.
only thing that you can't do is sleep at the location, unfortunately. But otherwise, I try to have everything else included with it all. So,
Excellent. Thank you.
Nice.
yep,
Thank you.
absolutely.
And for everybody who is watching, listening, we ask you to subscribe, hit the notification button, share, help us out here. We appreciate that. And, this is something I know Rez and I both enjoy doing because if we weren't enjoying it, we wouldn't be doing it. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know about you, Rez, but I love doing this
Oh,
vodcasting thing.
so do I.
Yeah.
very much so. You know,
Yeah.
the different people we get to meet and talk with and bring to the masses.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying every time we get on here. You
Yeah,
know,
me too. Absolutely. Um, the other thing is our Facebook group. So we have the Red Road Paranormal Vodcast Facebook group. We
Okay.
also have the Red Road Paranormal Podcast business page. So you join either one of those. When we'll talk about it, we'll reach a number, but when we reach a certain number of members, we'll do another live.
yeah.
So maybe we'll do some readings on that live. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I'll start practicing some more.
Awesome.
So you
Awesome.
got some events coming up here, Christina, don't you?
I do. You know what? I actually have to look at my phone though, because um let's see. I have a retreat coming up in northern Wisconsin, April 5th through the 7th. We still have a few openings for that. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I'm already in April. Oh, the Brainerd. Oh, what are they even calling that thing? It's in Brainerd, Minnesota, and it's a big event. Like
A MetaPro event,
it's a
right?
Meta Para Pro event, and it's a psychic fair. There's going to be on Friday, there's going to be a seance, a gallery reading on Saturday. I'm doing a channeling on that Sunday. That would be the April 14th. I'm doing a channeling that Sunday. And there's going to be like speakers. And I know that Barnaby from CAPS is going to be
Yep. My
speaking.
team leader and founder.
Yep. So there's going to be a lot of speakers and stuff going on. Um, let's see. The following weekend, the 20th of April, I will be in Iola, Wisconsin at the Northwoods Health and Wellness Expo. The following day, I will be in Cable, Wisconsin. Gonna have to look at a map on that one. It's somewhere near Ashland, between Park Falls and Ashland, which is like way northwest corner. So I will be at the Spring Holistic Healing Expo there. Mind Body Spirit Fair in Hiawatha, at the Hiawatha Fair at in Escanaba, Michigan on the 27th. Beyond the Veil Expo the first weekend in May, and that is in Mankato, Minnesota. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Spirits in the
Yeah.
Spring, June 1st. So, yeah, I have a lot going on over the next couple of months.
Yep.
So, you can check my
June
website.
1st. Yep. June 1st, I'll be up in Menominee Marionette area for the Marionette Menominee Bigfoot and Paranormal Convention. Team Caps team is hosting that. And then was it July 20th? I'll be at Broadhead Manor for
That's
one of
right.
your events.
I'm doing the Moonbow Metaphysical Expo. Yeah. So, at Broadhead Manor.
Yeah.
We currently have, I think, 48 vendors. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a decent sized event. Yeah, in a haunted
Definitely.
school. So if you're not doing anything in July, Drew, come on over.
Yeah. Come hang out.
I guess actually, I might have to take you up on that. I think July is the only month this year so far that I'm not doing anything or
All
don't
right.
have anything going on. So we'll
Cool.
see.
Well, July 20th, come on out.
All
Yep.
right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Be great to have you there. So, with that, everybody, again, subscribe, ring the bell, share, talk about us, tell people about us, and leave comments because we actually do go back and read those comments. So, thank you for doing that.
Yep.
And Drew, it was great having you, and I hope that you can make it out in July. And if not, we're certainly going to have you back on again.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
So,
honestly been a
Yep.
blast. Appreciate you guys having me on your show. This has been great. And I will
Awesome.
absolutely be on here again for sure. Whenever you guys want me to.
excellent,
Awesome. Look forward
excellent.
to it.
Yep, me too. Cool. Well, everybody have a great day, and we will see you next time. Right.
All right. Take it easy,
Bye.
y'all.
All right.